There's lots of talk about this being the end of the school year. Maybe it's graduations or diplomas, maybe just wrapping it up. But today I want to talk about what to do if the school year didn't go exactly as planned. Maybe your big plans fizzled. Maybe your kids resisted. Maybe life just got in the way. I want to help you wrap things up in a way that you can feel good about. So we're going to talk about how to move forward if this year felt like a flop, creative and meaningful ways to celebrate anyway. And I have a free PDF for you that I'll link in the show notes and talk a little more about. Plus, if you have those end of the year progress reports that you have to do, I can walk you through a little bit of that too. So whether you're a relaxed homeschooler or an unschooler, or even just curious about what do unschoolers do then, this is for you. If you're new here, I'm Sue Patterson, and I help parents who simply want to set aside their fears so that they can create a homeschooling strategy that will actually work for their family, for the kids, but also for themselves. I have a lot of options over at the Unschooling Mom2Mom website, and I'll put links in the show notes too. I'm not going to leave you hanging. After nearly 30 years in the homeschooling and unschooling community, I've seen what works and what doesn't. And that's what I want to share with you in whatever way works best for you. Podcasts, videos, PDFs, ebooks, one-to-one coaching, group coaching. I'm here. Reach out and I can get you some more support. So let's dive in. This season carries a sort of weight for homeschooling parents. End of the year tests, progress reports, graduation ceremonies, closure. And for some of us, that closure feeling is looming really large around. We don't feel good about what the past few months look like. We had so many cool plans back in the fall, but now you're wondering if you should force the kids to crank out these last few pages before we wrap up the month. Maybe you started the year with vision boards and curriculum plans and color-coded schedules, and your kids had other ideas. Or maybe your energy faded, or both. And that makes us all feel resentment and irritation and guilt. Where did the time go? Why didn't we finish what we started? Did they even learn any? That heavy feeling, you're not alone in. But today we're going to stop that spiral because here's the truth. You're not really trying to recreate school at home. You're trying to create an environment where your child actually enjoys learning. And that's not easy, especially if all the tools you chose don't seem to work. And then you have those critical thoughts that keep jumping up, judgments that get louder with that concept of just canceling it and wrapping it all up. Now you're modeling being a quitter. They'll never develop grit. They have to learn to stay with things that are hard. And that last one, I could probably do a whole other podcast on that. Let me know if you'd like to explore that concept a little bit more. But I want to toss in an idea that I learned about when I was making shifts when things didn't work or didn't fit for us. And it's called the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy is about clinging to a course of action even if it's no longer beneficial because of the investment you made. For us as homeschooling parents, this often pertains to buying curriculum or a class and staying with it when your kid is clearly not getting much out. You spent time and energy too, and you might even rationalize that it was your fault that this isn't going well, or it's your kid's lack of motivation. Because if you blame the curriculum, you're going to have to admit that you made a bad choice. You did not spend your money well. You made a mistake. And so we need to recognize a couple things. First, mistakes lead to better choices down the road. We gather data and we make choices, and lots of them are going to be wrong. There is no right answer, no tried and true formula to follow that guarantees success. You try something, gather the data about what worked and what didn't, and then you pivot with the new data. The sunk cost fallacy makes you continue to invest time and energy into the sinking ship. And the sooner you drop it, the sooner you stop sinking more emotional and connection costs into it. And the sooner you can switch to something that might work better. The second thing brings us back to the importance of individualizing. And we can only be successful at this if we're observing to see what works and then make the adjustments as needed, modifying things on the fly. getting our ego out of it so that we can ditch the lesson plans that sounded good but have now become clearly soul sucking. When you do this, you're also demonstrating to your child that life is all about choice, weighing out the pros and cons, admitting we sometimes think something is going to be better than it is, and no one is to blame because then you can pivot and jump to a new way, and it doesn't have to be a different curriculum. What if May no longer is your most stressful month trying to prod the kids through the final pages? It could be full connection and tapping into the world all around you and learning. Learning is actually the byproduct of all of it. You'll be shocked. You were so busy checking the boxes with that old curriculum that you didn't notice all the learning that was running around saying, pick, yeah, I cannot. So first up, let's call it done. You don't need to wait for some bureaucratic marker to tell you it's over. You are the teacher and the principal and the superintendent. You get to say when it's complete. You decide if they get credit.
4th grade, finished. 10th grade,
Complete. And if you want closure, don't make it about tests or finished textbooks or math skill, memorizing capitals. Make it about connection and reflection. So that's why I've created this PDF for you about planning an end of the year celebration. What would your kids like to celebrate? Let's plan a party. Play music that your kids love. Eat a favorite meal or dessert. Plan a walk down memory lane through photos or journal entries from the year. Where did you go? What moments made you laugh? What experiences did they have? Talk about what they are proud of. Maybe they beat a game or they learned to ride a bike or they made a new friend. Celebrate the weird stuff, the Minecraft builds, the deep dives across obscure topics, the inside jokes. So that PDF I have will help you do this. It has reflection prompts and a checklist with ideas to keep it easy and lighthearted. And if you're in my membership group, hop into the circle and find the full collection of ideas waiting for you, including a different PDF for helping you with teens, because they might look at this a little differently. I really want to help you breathe a little life back into this educational journey. And we do that in the membership group all the time. You're always welcome to join us. So let's wrap up the year and show our kids that celebrating progress doesn't require a gold star from someone else. It doesn't have to be about grades or approval. Help them remember what went right and not the disappointment of not finishing the work. What strengths were developed? What did you see? Where did you go? What did you talk about and explore? What shifts have happened since last fall? Let's focus on the real life learning and the growth that's happened. And as you remember these activities, you can see the subjects in hikes and trips to the nature center, learning to use the radar on the weather app, taking care of the dog, all science, expanding vocabulary, chatting online with friends, discussing the storyline of some Netflix show, or listening to podcast stories, language arts, saving up for that game, comparing prices, measuring for anything. The election was last fall. Did you talk about it? Did you travel? Did you discuss any cultural events or watch something on YouTube? Social studies. These are small, but each of these become the building blocks to help your child develop the concepts for those subjects. When you start with the activities and find those hidden subjects, completing the end of the year progress reports are a lot easier. If your state requires a progress report at this time of year, and only about half of them do, go to the Department of Education website and pull up the standards that they want to see. Use their language on your progress report. What do they call it? That's what you call it. And everything you wrote down for your end of the year worksheets can be transformed into the lessons needed to fulfill the requirement. So if this feels confusing or overwhelming, we could talk about it through a coaching call, or you can join the membership for step-by-step resources and support. Now grab the free end of the year celebration PDF that will help you wrap up your year. It's linked in the show notes and at the blog. I always post the transcript over at the Unschooling Mom2Mom website, so you can read along or check out any resources that I mentioned while we're talking. I am so glad our paths have crossed. Happy unschooling. I'm over here rooting for you. Reach out if you need help.